Hi everyone, and welcome back to History Repeats Itself. I'm Ellis, and I bet you thought it was over. After I said Carthage surrendered in the First Punic War, I bet you thought the challenges between Carthage and Rome are basically over. Well, let me tell you, the First Punic War is not even the most famous one. There's two more. And today we're talking about the second one, which is my absolute favorite. If you thought Sicily was bad, wait until you hear about Saguntum. Throwback to the last regular episode when I talked about the Ebro Treaty. This is one of the constraints that Rome placed on Carthage after forcing them to surrender in the First Punic War. The goal of the Ebro Treaty was to keep Carthage from expanding further into Spain and eventually into northern Italy. It said that anything below the river is Carthage's and anything above it is Rome's. There's a city called Saguntum right here that is clearly within Carthaginian territory. So you would assume everything's fine. There's no problems whatsoever. Well, don't make assumptions, guys, because Saguntum secured an informal alliance with Rome, which made a certain general very unhappy. And this certain general you do not want to mess with. His name is Hannibal Barca. I've been waiting so long to talk about Hannibal. He is one of the greatest military geniuses in the world, and he's the son of Hannibal Barca, who was one of the most prominent generals in the First Punic War. Unfortunately, he couldn't win it for Carthage.
Oh, man.
But he did instill an absolute sense of vengeance towards Rome in his son.
Yay!
You know, your main lesson from your parents might be work hard, be kind. His lesson was hate Rome with all of your heart. From the point where he was 5 years old, he was like, listen, son, that country over there, it's your job to destroy it. So this source of vengeance was instilled in Hannibal from an extremely young age. So when he saw Saguntum, a city that was part of his country's territory, making an informal alliance with Rome to help with some internal disputes, he saw that as an immense betrayal. And he could kind of foresee Rome maybe slowly starting to infiltrate through that one city and then eventually conquering the entire region. So Hannibal was extremely worried about this, extremely angry. He felt very betrayed. So what did he do? He massacred the city, as one does. Meanwhile, as we know by now, Rome is a very aggressive state. They're not going to let anything fly. So if Hannibal massacres this city in which they have an alliance with, they are going to do something about it. So they sent a council made up of a couple prominent Senate members to Carthage to try to negotiate. One of those prominent Senate members was Fabius Maximus. Fabius stood up in front of the council and he said, I hold in the folds of my toga both peace and war. Which one should I let drop? And a Carthaginian said, whichever one you want. And he said, then I choose war. Little side note here, because we don't have a special episode that connects to this topic, people in strong leadership roles have so much power. This man, listen, there were a lot of other things that I just explained that, and also events from the First Punic War, like a little bit of a grudge, that led up to this moment. But ultimately, Fabius Maximus's words, I choose war, led to hundreds of thousands of deaths, and extreme war that lasted decades. This just goes to show how consequential power can be. And sometimes it can be for the good, if someone in power chooses to do something that's incredibly beneficial to a lot of people across the world or even just in their country. But the weight of the words of somebody in power is extremely heavy. So yeah, just a little side note. Anyways, back to the Senate room. Immediately, Rome orders their consul named Longus to go and attack Carthage, and the other consul, Scipio, to go to Iberia and make sure that Hannibal didn't do anything crazy. Meanwhile, Hannibal was planning one of the most dangerous feats in all of human history. He was planning to attack northern Italy by crossing the Alps. Okay, stay tuned because next time we're going to talk about that insane feat. And in case you didn't know from the last episode, the crossing of the Alps is my absolute favorite thing to talk about, like ever. Okay, so get ready for some crossing of the Alps. Thank you for watching.